So let's move on to the next question, guys. In this question, we are given that Lexi walks 5 miles from point A to point B in 1 hour. So from point A to point B, the distance is 5 miles, and Lexi takes 1 hour to travel from point A to point B, right? Then bicycle backs to point A along the same route at 15 miles per hour. So Lexi then comes from point B to point A at 15 miles per hour. So this is the speed given. So this is from point A to point B, and this is from point B to point A. Right. Ben makes the same round trip. So Ben also makes the same round trip, but he does so at half of Lexi's average speed. So Ben has half the average speed of Lexi, right? So we have to calculate how much time does Ben take to do the round trip. So I hope the question is clear, right? So tell me one thing. The time Lexi takes from point A to point B is how much? 1 hour. So time from point A to point B, this we are talking about Lexi. Right now we are talking about Lexi. So time from point A to point B is 1 hour, which means 60 minutes. Right. Okay, now let's calculate the total time for Lexi. So time from B to A. Now Lexi took 60 minutes to reach from point A to point B. Now when she comes from point B to point A, the time will be how much? Time is how much? Distance upon speed. This is very basic. The formula for time is distance upon speed. So how much is the distance? The distance is 5 miles, right? And how much was the speed? We know that the Lexi speed when she was coming from point B to point A was 15 miles per hour. So that means 15 miles per hour, right? This comes out to be 1 upon 3 hours, because miles and miles gets cut. So this comes out to be 1 by 3 hours, or you can say 20 minutes. I hope this should be fine, right? So that means while going from point A to point B, Lexi takes 60 minutes. While coming back, she takes 20 minutes. So the total time Lexi takes for the round trip. So round trip means A to B. So going from A to B and coming from B to A, that will be how much? 60 plus 20, which is 80 minutes. I hope this should be clear, right? That means when Lexi travels from point A to point B and comes back from point B to point A, she takes a total time of 80 minutes. This thing is very clear, right? Now, we are given in the question that Ben has half the average speed of Lexi. So, for instance, that means that Lexi travels a total of how many miles? 10 miles, right? Because she goes from point A to point B, that is 5 miles, and she comes back from B to A, that is 5 miles. So the total distance traveled by Lexi is 10 miles, and the total time taken by Lexi is 80 minutes, right? Now tell me one thing. If Ben has the average speed of half, that means, for example, if the average speed of Lexi is 20 miles per hour, let's say, right? So that means the average speed of Ben will be 10 miles per hour, because that is half. So 20 upon 2 is 10, which means Ben will take double the amount of time, because obviously if the speed is less, if you're driving at a lesser speed, you will take more time. So we know that the average speed of Ben is half. That means the average time taken by Ben will be double, basically, right? So if Lexi takes 80 minutes, then the time taken for Ben to travel the round trip will be double, because the speed is half, then the time will be double. So in this case, Lexi was taking 80 minutes. So time for Ben will be how much? 160 minutes. As simple as that. So you don't have to do any calculation. Like, this is the only calculation you need to do. What else you could have done is that firstly find the average speed for Lexi. So average speed for Lexi will be how much? Total 10 miles upon 80 minutes. So you find the average speed of Lexi. Now you know the average speed of Lexi, then you can find the average speed of Ben, because whatever speed Lexi has, you can divide by 2 and you will get the average speed for Ben. And then you have the average speed and you have the total distance, then you can take the total time. So that is one approach, but that is kind of a little lengthy approach because you have to do a lot of calculations. But we know that because Ben has the average speed of half, that means he will take double the time. So if Lexi is taking 80 minutes, so Ben will automatically take 160 minutes. So I hope this should be clear.